What was your "sir, this is a Wendy's" moment? I worked at Walmart for a long time in the hardware depot. Had a customer call asking if we sold toilets. I said, like, toilet seats? He said, no, like actual toilets. So I said, sorry, we just sell the seats and replacement parts, no porcelain. He got all huffy and said, Jesus, what is this place? Walmart? I paused for a moment and said, yes, sir, it is. Silence for a long moment. Then he said in a little voice, this isn't Home Depot? No, sir, you called Walmart. Oh shit, I am so sorry, and he hung up. I laughed my ass off. Went to drive-through at a Wendy's, and the person taking the order said, welcome to Walmart. I was really confused, and I heard laughing. And he said, I'm so sorry, he works there too, and was on autopilot. I was in Lowe's one morning, right after they opened. There was a woman at the service desk having a complete meltdown, yelling and screaming because Lowe's didn't have a licensed contractor there at the store for her to hire. She apparently woke up that morning and decided she needed a deck like that same day and thought she could just go to Lowe's and have someone immediately start building a deck. It was dead, so I stood with the cashier listening to the show. They ended up having to call the police to get her to leave. Work in radio. Got a call on the contest line one time. Yeah, I need a hotel room, said the caller. Okay, how would you like me to help you? Well, book me one. You're aware you called a radio station's contest line, right? Yeah, don't you book hotel rooms for rock stars when they do a show in town? Book me one. I work as a facilities manager for a company with a few hundred locations around the country. Back at the end of 2020, I was having trouble getting in touch with a vendor we had a contract with to do some work around one of our offices. Nothing big. I figured he just ghosted us. So I began looking for another vendor who could take over the work. After 2 months of radio silence, vendor 1 calls me out of the blue and was clearly very drunk and crying at 1 p.m. on a weekday. Turns out he had gotten COVID, was hospitalized, got blood clots in both legs, and had to have them both amputated. He called me while I was at work and told me his whole life story. I ended up staying on the phone with him for about 30-45 minutes, and I helped him track down a grief counselor. Hopefully he went. I still wonder how he's doing sometimes. I love when customers trauma dump on me. Okay, sir, that will be $2.15. Yeah, my dog just died and my son was arrested. My mom's house burned down last week too. Oh, would you like a straw? I work for a CPA office that is in an office park with a couple doctors' offices. One day a guy came in only speaking Spanish, so I grabbed my Spanish-speaking colleague to translate. He talked to the guy in the lobby for a few minutes. Then the guy left, and my coworker came back and asked if that was a joke or we put someone up to that. Apparently, the guy explained that his testicles were extremely swollen and painful. He was looking for one of the doctor's offices and just walked into the first building in the complex. Sir, we do taxes here, not testicles. Uber driver. Once had a girl I picked up from a karaoke bar that was obvious upset, distressed. Asked if she was okay. Yeah, I just did karaoke. Oh, that's pretty cool. I did a song for my dad that died a year ago. Aw, that's sweet of you. Nothing else was said until I got her home, which was only a couple blocks away. As I pulled in, this is what she said. I'm not going to give you a bad rating for this, but you could have been more emotionally available for me. I just said, I'm sorry, and had to stop myself from bursting into laughter. I felt bad for her, of course, but that was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard from a passenger, especially prefacing it with, I'm not going to give you a bad rating for this, but... Second story. Picked up a lady. She was distressed. I asked if I could do anything for her, and she said, not unless you can take back the last 40 years of my life. It was a very silent, awkward ride. Closing shift at a Starbucks was like 10 p.m. This couple come inside and walk up to me at the front counter saying, the deli across the street is racist towards white people. I really had no response besides just standing there for a few seconds before saying, did you want to order something? Had a guy come into my place of work yesterday, pissed off because he issued his payment date and had to pay extra to turn his phone back on. He said something along the lines of, it was due at midnight, and y'all aren't open at midnight, so how was I supposed to pay? I calmly explained that we are open until 7 p.m. every day, but Sunday, and he screamed, Well, unlike you, I actually have a job at my job whilst doing my job. I've told this story tons of times to my friends' family because it's one of my favorite Domino's stories. This happened somewhere around 2017, 2018. One day, it was really slow at work at Domino's. I was still a relatively new insider, only a few months in to what would be about 4 years, and still in school. So I was hoping that it would stay slow so I could go home so I can cheat on my math homework, play some League of Legends, and get some sleep since my school started an hour earlier than other schools in the area. A woman, probably mid 40s, comes in to order a pizza. She's pretty chill, and we're just chatting while she's ordering because there really isn't much to do otherwise since we already cleaned the store and oven and all that. After she gets her pizza all done up, I ask her if she'd like any drinks. She's like, "Oh, what do you guys have?" I'm running down the drink options, and she notices Coca-Cola and looks at me wide-eyed like she just saw someone get hit by a car. "Don't you know they put human embryos in Coke?" "I'm sorry?" She then spends the next 7 minutes running down pretty much every major conspiracy, from human embryos in Coca-Cola to flat Earth to the moon landing being faked, etc. If you think of a pre-COVID conspiracy, she hit it. And she tied it all up in a neat little bow of, "It's all the Jews." I'm stun-locked. The only words that can come out of my mouth are, "So no on the drink?" "Coke Zero, please." I guess the zero means zero embryos. Got one, nice lady walks into the cinema I work in, asks for a ticket, yada yada. We start chatting a bit while I ring her up, explain how the cinema works, etc. It was a slow day too, so I could actually do that. And that's when she asks me what hall to go to. I explain to her she has access to all of them. She can just pick wherever she goes first. Cue this. "Okay, that's great. Where's the Barbie movie in, though?" "What do you mean Barbie movie?" Lady looks around. Realizes things are very fucky. Oh no. "Oh, I see it too now. Yeah, this isn't this kind of cinema. Let me reimburse you." Turns out she literally managed to miss every DVD rental case, the posters and interior deco of the porn cinema she walked into. Edit. I'm surprised at the amount of you that didn't know porn cinemas are a thing, actually. I thought they were a common thing, granted a dying one, but that they still existed.